There are so many invisible chains that hold us back, that keep us stuck. Chains we don't even realize we're carrying. They show up as mental blocks, limiting beliefs, financial stress, old behaviors, spiritual disconnection, and deep-rooted traumas. Welcome to ETV, Elevated Transcendent Vision, where we talk truth, healing, and elevation. I'm not here to sell you hope. I'm here to help you remember who the fuck you are, your power, reclaim your energy, and build a reality that actually aligns and reflects with who you're becoming and the best vision of you, the best version of you. So in this deep dive series, I'm exploring the major chains that keep people stuck. Mental chains, psychological strongholds, spiritual and energetic blocks, financial bondage, and behavioral cycles that we repeat like clockwork. I recently did a series on YouTube Live exploring these topics, but here I want to dive way deeper and, give out the gems and the things that have helped me along my journey. The tips and the modalities to break free from this bullshit, because like I said, we do have the power to create the life that we want. We've just been fooled into believing that the power is outside of us and somebody else has it over us for so long that we forgot who we are. So if you ever felt like you're trying to grow, but something keeps pulling you back, you are not alone. And this series is for you. So if you're ready to cut the cords and walk in freedom, clarity, and confidence, tap that like button, subscribe, and join this journey. And share with someone else who's ready to break free too. Let's get into it. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your strongest prison. The mental chains we carry were not born yesterday. They're inherited, programmed, or repeated. And in this episode, we are exposing the thoughts that sabotage us and rewriting the narrative so you can finally start thinking like the version of you who is actually free. So everybody knows we're living in a matrix. There's several. When I say matrix, I don't mean the movie like Neo, and I'm saying that the matrix, if you look it up, the word, it's a mold, it's a structure, it's how something is shaped. We're living in a fractal holographic matrix of light. This entire universe is a structure of light based on fractal holographics. We are living in a creation like the ancients said we were. There are patterns that repeat itself at different levels, and that's what I mean by a fractal holograph. It's like as above, so below. The structure of an atom mirrors the solar system. Our bodies have the nervous and circulatory system that resembles rivers, that resembles trees and roots, that resembles lightning strikes. And I'm starting here so we can get the foundation of this series and where I'm going with this, right? So we can understand that everything is connected, all the programming, all the repetition of everything. It happens for a reason. As above, so below. In the beginning was the word, and you're gonna understand what I'm saying as I continue further, but I have to lay this foundation, because once you understand this, then the future, the way your life will be lived, and the way you decide to live your life will be much easier. You'll understand that you actually have the power, and it's not in someone else's hands. We're just choosing to give it away. So as I was saying, our bodies is like higher things in this world, like the rivers, the trees, lightning strikes, and every atom. Our consciousness, emotions, and even experiences are often following fractal-like cycles. The whole is in every part. If you think of a hologram, the whole hologram is in every aspect of that hologram. And that's the same way as this universe that we're living in, this crazy, beautiful universe that we're experiencing. Quantum physics, quantum mechanics has proven this. And so we're made of conscious waves of light energy, right? So in the beginning was the word. That is so powerful. In the beginning was the word. The world is a cymatic frequency of vibration, meaning the creator itself, God, Allah, Buddha, energy, source, whatever you want to call it, had to get the right frequency, the right vibration to create and manifest this 3D reality that we're living in, this third dimensional reality. It cannot and would not materialize until you get on the right frequency, until it was on the right frequency. Vibration, energy, wavelength, whatever you want to call it. I say this is a powerful ass statement because this is everything that has made everything come into existence. I'm not talking about religion or politics or anything like that. I'm talking about understanding. I'm talking about accepting. The ancients knew to do this. They knew this truth. With that being said, there are so many different matrices, and without our five senses, our brain is just sitting in this darkness. Our brain can't comprehend anything without our five senses. That would be another matrix. So it's locked into this energetic grid that holds everything. Like I said, without it, we cannot fathom what this 3D reality is, this third dimension is. Even though we have a brain, we need our five senses. That is how we know what this universe is. Without our five senses, what would our brain be? Because it's encased in this darkness, right? Our brain is highly connected to the sensory projective system. And since there are so many different levels to reality, like we are the micro, and the macro is way bigger than us. Since there are so many different levels to reality, that tells us that our perception is based on collective data. And perception is our own reality. Reality is our own perception. You know, me and you can have the same experience, but we would have perceived it in a different way, which makes us have different types of reality, right? So we can go into the woods and we can see a bear, and you can be completely petrified. I would be calm. I would be enamored, like, oh, it's a bear, and you know what to do. But we can have two different experiences saying the same thing. Our perception is our reality, right? That information gathering, that intelligence is how we navigate through the matrix, through this life, through this thing we call life. And like I said before, the Hermetic principles, as above, so below, is a mirror. Research this and you will understand more of what I'm saying. Maybe I can touch on this topic deeper, but I'm gonna stick to the series right now. If you won't, let me know in the comments. And if you go above on the macro scale, you will understand, which is the universe. You will understand that it's doing it the same thing that we're doing, but on a macro scale. We're doing it on a micro scale. And so the universe is, so to speak, a mind. And we are collecting data for the universe. Like our senses collect data for our life, we are collecting data for the universe. So in a sense, we are the universe experiencing itself. We are part of those senses that collect data for the universe. Everything that is organic, everything that is living, a living, breathing thing, is collecting data for the universe. The plants, the trees, ourselves, the dogs, the cats, the ants, the spiders that you don't like, that you're petrified of, the snakes, everything, every living thing, the bees, is collecting data for the macro, right? We're all coexisting. Different aspects of this beautiful universe. The water, you know, the ocean, the rain, it's just amazing to really think about, man. So amazing to think about. So then within the universal matrix, we as a collective have created our own micro matrix. You know what I mean? The educational matrix, the financial matrix, the prison matrix, the political matrix, the religion matrix, the high class matrix, the middle class, the poor class. All of that shit is some type of matrix on a different scale. So because people have learned to wield the power of conscious thought and the energy known as the force, using it for darkness instead of light, unfortunately, over the masses of people, over the collective, to distract us, to keep us fighting, to keep us in fear, to keep us in stress and poverty and struggle and hating one another, left wing, right wing, you know, divide and conquer type shit, so they can have control, so we can feel powerless, so they can chop up the pie among themselves and be happy-go-lucky while the rest of the world is low-key in turmoil, keeping us in amnesia from birth about how powerful we truly are, how incredible, how magnificent we truly are, how beautiful we truly are, how divine we truly are, how every single atom that we have within us is divine. You know, they have mastered subliminal programming. You know, the dogma, the TV, the television programs, they have programmed us into believing in fear and stress and hating each other, dividing and conquer, the money, the politics. Like, they have orchestrated this so well and have conditioned our minds into believing this bullshit for so long. And it's time for us to stand up. It's time for us to take our power back. It's time for us to stop letting it be given to someone else. You know, they haven't taken anything, but we have allowed them to have it. We just stopped using it. They have convinced a lot of people that we have no power. We have been manipulated and programmed for eons, for so long. It's ridiculous. And it's time. Thinking about the social security scam, like retiring when you're 65, 67, I don't know. I think they changed the age, but like retiring with the $800 check a month. What? How are you really going to live a life of fulfillment with that $800 a month while inflation is on the rise damn near every year? And you have to have a certain amount of income for you to keep your social security. So they want to keep you in bondage. They don't want you to thrive and live the life that you're truly meant to live. They want to keep you in bondage. You can't even have a job to sustain yourself. You have to stay on social security, the money that you worked for all those years. You can't make more than a certain amount or they're going to take it away. What sense does that make? How is that even fair? And let somebody actually have a business like that works like Social Security. You'll be thrown under the jail. Guaranteed, you'll be thrown under the jail if you had a business that ran like Social Security. So it's time to understand that in this lifetime, today, humans are prisoners and they are the prison guards of their life. Simultaneously, it's us doing this to ourselves. We are allowing ourselves to feel powerless. We are giving the power away. We are under this illusion and allow ourselves to live in this illusion and this programming that is allowing our power to be dormant, that is allowing our power to be given away, allowing these small groups of people to run the show and not trying to figure out how we can escape this bullshit. So it's time to get into thought-aligned action, because your thoughts, how you believe those thoughts, and the action is what creates your reality. So it's time to get in thought-aligned action. Stop hoping, wishing, and praying. It's okay to pray, but we have been taught to pray the wrong way. We have been taught to pray in the way of begging, of asking, of crying, boo-hoo, and pleading, and please, and please, and please, and in fear and damnation. It's time to pray the right way if you're going to pray. There's power in praying. Speaking from the words of power when you're praying is a completely different vibration. That is how we pray. Coming from a powerful mind and a powerful heart, commanding realities to exist. Commanding it without fear and without condemning, because thought is our creative mechanism. Our thoughts and our imagination are the secret to earning and generating a life of living that is worthwhile, that we are in love with, not one that we hate. The real transformation is living off of the truth of your thoughts and your actions to curate materialization, to create manifestation. Everything you see around you is a thought. It started with a thought. This phone that I'm recording on, it started with a thought. Your clothes started with a thought. These glasses started with a thought. Everything you see around you all started with a thought. In the beginning was the word, right? Since everything exists as a conscious thought before it manifests into reality, that means it's thought about in the conscious, in the multi-dimensional platform, your mind, and then it's collapsed and encoded into 2D by drawing it or putting it on a computer program like CAD or something, and then it's engineered by you or somebody else. You pay somebody to engineer it into the third dimension. You'll be able to touch it. You'll be able to see it. So if you remember, conscious thought times action equals manifestation equals reality. Hey, that's the formula right there. I heard that from Billy Carson. With that being said, we need to start accepting and realizing and acknowledge that we are co-creators of this reality. We are fractals of God. We are different aspects of this creation of God. We are creators, co-creators. No, I'm not saying we created this universe, but we are co-creators. We are different aspects of oneness. That took like 25 minutes to lay that foundation, but it's very important. I had to get that out and for y'all to understand that you have the power, and we don't have to continue to allow these strongholds, these programmings to run our lives, and just sit there as if we don't have the pen to rewrite our story. Continuing on, the mental and emotional chains, right? The stronghold. If you ever felt trapped in your own head, drop a brain emoji in the comments and let's talk about it. Number one, there's limiting beliefs like I'm not good enough, success is for other people. And these operate in the background of our minds, in the background of our lives, and they shape our identity. They shape our decision making. They shape our reality. And when I say identity, it's who you believe yourself to be, your image that you have of yourself. Because who you believe yourself to be, who you imagine yourself to be, you always make decisions based on who you are or who you are not. So we must start to live based off of the best vision and version of us that we know we can live, that we have in the back of our mind, like deep rooted in our heart, that we know that we want to live by. That deepest desire, that best vision and version of us coming from love. We must live by that. And the second one is fear. Fear of changing, fear of the unknown. The comfort zone can feel safer than growth, even if it's painful, because it's just what we've known. But really, nothing is bigger than you. You have to continue to tell yourself that nothing is bigger than you. Nothing that you face, no challenges, nothing that you come in contact with is bigger than you. You can overcome anything. You know, your desires wouldn't be a desire if you didn't have that desire. So why make your desire put it on a pedestal while you're looking up to your desires? Because it wouldn't exist without you. Nothing is bigger than you. We have to get on the other side of our comfort zone. On the other side of our comfort zone is our desired reality. Think about it. Where you're comfortable at now is where you are right now. It hasn't gotten you any further in life being comfortable. So we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Stop being in fear of the unknown, because the more and more that we get to the best vision and best version of our life, the more we're going to grow. The more we're in the unknown because we haven't experienced it before. So we have to get comfortable with the unknown. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Third one is having unresolved trauma. Those emotional wounds from childhood or past experiences, they can create recurring patterns and subconscious sabotage. I myself can speak from experience. I come from struggle. My mom got us out of the hood, gave us the best life she could. I've seen and experienced so much trauma from robberies, from people getting killed, from abuse, physically, mentally, you name it. For a long time, I popped pills and was drinking and did what I could to numb the pain. It put me in a shell. I didn't like many people. You know, for a long time, I thought I was a sociopath. I hated my life. But there came a point in time where I got tired of it, and I realized, like I said, it was just a fucking stronghold. And what am I doing with my life? If I'm not living happy, what am I doing here? I'm just wasting my life. I'm not being the best version of myself. I'm just wasting my life. And this is a part of that. I'm helping myself to help you guys. So that unresolved trauma can be something crucial. But you don't have to hold on to it. You can, and I know that you're ready because you're watching this video still. You're watching this series. We can look at also shame and guilt. The low vibrational emotions can trap us in cycles, like I said, in pattern of self-punishment and self-doubt and having low self-esteem. And shame and guilt is so low on the totem pole, it's so low vibrational that it can have you stuck in putting yourself in situations that you feel worthless. And other people see you as worthless. But stick around and I'm telling you, you will have the key to unlock this bullshit. And if you haven't already, I'm sure you have already, because in the beginning, those were gems. And the fifth one would be attachment to the past. Constantly reliving old stories, betrayal, or identities can predict the present transformation. Can predict your future. If you're constantly living in the past, you're going to perpetuate the same energy. You know, you can't change your life until you change. Nothing's going to change in your life until you change. So if you're constantly in the energy of the past, you're going to keep perpetuating the same bullshit that you don't want. I started in my late 20s to change my life. I picked up personal development books and, listened to manifestation podcasts. And before that, I was mentally and emotionally shut off. Shut off. I only liked a certain amount of people and allowed a certain amount of people into my life. And even those people I still hurt because I didn't even care about myself that much. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. I was low-key angry, of course. And I just knew that things had to change. So I broke free from that shit. I'm so grateful. It also helps to have a lot of gratitude, because when you're focused on gratitude, how can you focus on the lack thereof? You know, how can you focus on what you're missing? The keys to breaking free is having awareness, because you can't shift or change anything that you can't see. So have awareness of where you're at in your life. Have the courage to look at that. Have the courage to sit down and take note of who you are right now, where you are right now, and where you want to go, and the things you can let go of, and creating new routines and habits. Maybe people, you know, the people you hang around. Think of the best version of yourself. How do they operate? What do they eat on a daily basis? What do they do on a daily basis? How do they wake up? How do they go to sleep? You know, what do they do for themselves? Have that awareness and have enough courage to let it go. Releasing and reprogramming your beliefs as well, because a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. So if it's just a thought that you keep thinking, create new beliefs. Have enough courage to let them go. Have enough courage to ask yourself, why do I believe in this? Where did this belief come from? Why do I feel this way about myself? Who told me that? Why, you know what I mean? Why do I believe this about the world around me? Why do I believe that I have to live my life this way? If there's other people living the life that you want, even if you see it on TV or YouTube or whatever, if there's other people living the life that you desire, then it is possible for you. Because if it's possible for one, then it is possible for all. And if you have it on your heart to live a different life, if you have desires, your desires are there for a reason. It's waiting on you to accept it and acknowledge it, and to embody that vision, that version of you wholeheartedly, not half-ass. Is waiting on you to embody that energy, that frequency of that version of you, that vision that you have. So awareness, release, reprogram those beliefs. And then there's shadow work, that inner child healing. So journal, ask ChatGPT for some prompting questions about how to, or what are some questions that you can release for your inner child. You know, do some embodiment practices, meditation, breath work, movement. That inner child healing, you can do EFT tapping, breath work, just getting out in nature and journaling, you know, meditating on releasing and reprogramming your inner child, and understanding and talking to your inner child. You know, your inner child is there. It really is. And probably 9 times out of 10, your inner child is running your life. You're making decisions based on how you've been hurt. You're making decisions on beliefs that you adopted as a little kid or a younger you. You know what I mean? Your inner child is running the show. 9 times out of 10. I can bet you that. So talk to that little child within you. Get a picture of you younger and talk to it. Write and journal about the things that you want to let go, the things that you feel have been hurting you and hindering you. I'm telling you, these things will help you release and grow and let go of that baggage. And let your inner child know that you have y'all's back, that he or she can let go, and you're always protected. You're always guided. Tell yourself that you love yourself. I love you. I got this. I'm going to give us everything that we wanted, that we want, that we deserve, that we desire. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. So those embodiment practices, meditation, breathwork, movement, and then also conscious creation, aligned action. Remember I said conscious thought plus action equals manifestation. So that aligned action, that conscious creation, it will take you to that next level, that best version of you. And when you live off of making your actions and responding based off of the best version of you in every situation, yeah, we may fuck up, but get back on that horse. Remind yourself of where you're going. Forgive yourself and continue on. Learn from your mishaps. It's just a mistake. You mistook the step. It's not a failure. It's only failure if you accept it as failure. So, conscious creation, aligned action. Remember, in your everyday movement, in your everyday circumstances, whatever you want to call it, your life, how you want to operate as the best version of you. Who is that? How do they walk? How do they talk? How do they make decisions? Do they harp on what didn't go right? Do they harp on how people are annoying them or, trying to control people? Probably not, because they're too happy. They're enjoying their life too much to be focused on bullshit. So, keeping that best version of yourself in mind on your everyday life will take you there quicker, and quicker, because you're aligning your energy to be on that frequency. Forgive yourself for the mistakes. Don't chalk it up as a failure. When the past echoes, those triggers, those situations that trigger you to act as if you're the past version of yourself, it's okay. Like I said, we all fuck up. Just remind yourself for the next time that the past echoes, and when it comes back around, to be better, to operate as the best version of yourself. I just fucked up yesterday, you know what I mean? But I know it is what it is. We're not perfect. We're just living this human experience. We're starseeds living this human experience. It's never going to be perfect. The journey's never going to be done. If the journey's done, then you're not here. You're not living in this life anymore. So enjoy each and every moment that you have to breathe, that you have to experience this beautiful thing we call life. With that being said, I appreciate y'all for listening. I hope you got a lot of gems. This was the mental chains, the limiting beliefs, the inner critics, the self-doubt, So if you ever felt trapped in your mind, like I said, drop a brain emoji in the comments and let's talk about it. Because the mental chains that we carry didn't just start with us, but breaking them can. You don't have to believe every thought that crosses your mind. You don't have to keep repeating stories that no longer reflect who you are. Awareness is the first crack in the mirror, and intention is key. So if anything in today's episode hit home, don't just sit with it, move with it, journal it, meditate on it. Start rewiring what you think about yourself, your worth, and your future. And if you're ready to keep doing the inner work to free yourself, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like button and drop a comment to let me know what mental chain you're working on breaking. This series is just getting started, and next up we're diving into the financial chains that keep us living small when we're meant to be thriving. I appreciate you being here. Keep choosing freedom one thought at a time. Much love to y'all. See you next time.